Hey, good morning, guys. This is the lowdown. Science is absolutely fascinating. Sometimes people don't believe in the power of the mind, the law of attraction, and all that stuff, and they say, "No, show me the facts." So here's some facts for you. Okay, if you hook your brain up to electrodes to test where the activity in your brain is, if you concentrate, the front part of your brain lights up. Okay, that's the part that's being used. If you're feeling sad, there's a different part of your brain that increases in activity. If you're feeling happy and elated, there's a huge part of your brain that increases in activity. And you can physically see this by connecting the electrodes and watching the computer screen where the brain activity increases. So essentially, your brain is divided into little sub towns, if I can call it that. And inside your mind, there's a little town called sadness. And in the beginning, it's a one horse town, not much going on um, until you start visiting. So if you start visiting sadness and you start visiting often, then the town increases in size. If you start visiting the sadness, the fear, the negativity, the resentment, and all those towns in your mind, the more frequently you visit there, the more frequently you'll end up living there. So that's bad news on the one side, because you don't want to live a life where you're constantly increasing the brain activity in those areas of your brain that really pull you down, because that's essentially what you're doing. You're gymming the part of your brain that makes you feel bad, if that makes sense. So there's some bad news in there, but there's treasure in the trash as well, because if that is true, and if you spend more time in those little towns in your brain, and it can increase the activity in that part, that means that when you start spending time in the good towns in your mind, it will also increase in size and activity. So it's a choice. There's no random things that just bad things that happen to you all the time. It's just that you see them. You are programming yourself to see either bad or good by the amount of time you spend thinking about those things, if that makes sense. So essentially what I'm saying is you need to make a conscious effort, even if you don't feel it at first, to start spending more time in happiness, serving your fellow human beings, spending time in nature and just seeing the little beautiful things, being grateful. And the more time you spend doing those things, the more good things will happen to you. Even if nothing, even if the good frequency that happens to you doesn't increase, you will be happier because you'll be seeing more beautiful things and things to be grateful for. So you can't lose. So close the door on the town to sadness and fear and resentment. You can do that. And the way you do that is just don't entertain it. It's going to be natural. Of course, the fear and the anger and the resentment and stuff will it will always be in your life. Okay, but you can choose when you get that feeling coming to you that you're about to visit this town. You can choose to close the door and not entertain it anymore, and rather replace it by being grateful for something, or just assisting another human being. That'll just replace that whole thing that's going on in your mind. So, guys, spend more time in the towns of your mind that really make a difference.